This content is brought to you by my channel members. Thank you very much. And also, we're actually a little bit more professional this time around, apart from the fact that I'm pretty sure I just killed Inter with laughter. How you doing over there, buddy?
I'm doing all right so far. Hello, everybody.
Hello. Well, that
It
wasn't
is
so
I.
You went from a mixture of, you know, that Simpsons character who had a stroke? What do you talk like that? I had a stroke. I done it again.
Forgot.
Professionalism. Anyway, we
Yes.
finally have, and we were talking about this on the last sort of episode of what I have just called Much Ado About the Wayward Realms. We finally have a devlog. Yeah, the pixelated trumpet noises from Arena. Yeah, we have a devlog. It is 17 minutes or so. I time traveled in order to beat everyone to the punch with a video. And it's my initial reaction to this devlog was one of hooray devlog, as you said in your video.
Absolutely.
But oh boy, some of it looks rough.
Well, are we going to watch some, or can we start out with a couple of comments?
Go ahead and start with a couple of comments.
Okay. I was not a very good listener of your time traveling review of the devlog, because in that video you asked us to give some comments asking what our concerns were and our hopes, and I did you a disservice by not giving you what my hope was. My number one hope is that they do more devlogs.
Yes,
because in my opinion, a devlog should be an indication to the expectant consumer base what progress is being made on the game. And I don't believe it's possible to show progress very well or very sensibly if you're not showing routine updates. And so if you only have one devlog, it gives you a snapshot, but that's not really progress per se. So I hope, my number one hope is that they do another devlog, preferably one before the end of this year.
Well, that might be a bit of a tall order because, you know, the end of this year is what, 60 days away, 70 days away?
Yeah,
It's not very far away at all. I suppose that's the best place to start on, is that we might be staring down the cold and unforgiving barrel of a delay to early access.
2026.
Which is kind of awkward for me, because if they delay, say, into February, March time, I'm going to have an infant on my lap while I play.
Which might JLS Junior.
Which might make playing the Wayward Realms kind of difficult. And thank you everyone for the congratses the other day. That was very nice of you.
Yep.
I'm actually going to go ahead and take a moment while we're on the 3-minute mark and the people with short attention spans are still here to say, hey, like, subscribe, go over to Inter. He is linked in the description below, and make sure you are subscribed to him as well. And now that the YouTubing business is out of the way, shall we have a play of this video, or have you got anything else that you want to say beforehand?
Let's watch it. Go for it. Let's hear it.
I'm going to yeah, there he is, the handsome man. Here we go. That shattered moon to start with, that's really interesting to me.
Fortuna.
Do we know why that shattered?
We do not know why, but we do know that it is hers.
Shattered Fortuna. Fortuna meaning, you know, good fortune or luck, and it's broken. Yep. Is kind of a bad. I realize that it can't be seen properly on the video, so I'm just going to move on. Lovely sunrise.
Yes.
Now, those are actual trees on the hills there, not just little blades of grass, I don't think.
Yes.
So it's the scale is good.
I'm kind of hypnotized by the waving grass blades in the foreground, though.
There he is.
Hi, Victor here, Creative Director on the Wayward Realms. Before we dive into the video, I wanted to go over a few things and set some expectations as well as give some insights into our development. We have made a lot of strides over the last year, but we've also faced many challenges. One huge challenge was the loss of our technical director, Julian. You may have noticed that my title has changed. Well, after Julian's passing, though honestly coinciding around the same time, we had reached a roadblock. Our efforts were not proving very fruitful, so we took a step to the side and we reevaluated our workflows and our technical structure. We reshuffled the teams into more focus groups. Ted took on the title of game director, and Kai and myself took on the roles of technical and creative directors, the titles that Julian and Ted had previously had. We also had to come to a realization that we were fighting too much with Unreal Engine.
I'm going to stop him there.
Yep.
I think again this gets stressed a lot, and I don't think it's very easy, I think, to understate the loss of Julian Lefay.
Yes.
Just having spoken to Michael and Victor in sort of the green room type situation before I did one of the interviews with them, it did impact them very hard. Not just as a company and as a team, but like you can tell from speaking to the devs the amount of respect they had for that bloke.
Yes. Yeah.
So it tickles my emotions, to put it lightly. It does make me.
Well, the thing about any workplace environment, if somebody has a tragedy in the family, you expect that they're going to be not able to perform at their best. A lot of companies will give time off for bereavement and such. So
exactly
they're still working on this game, which is just a game. When all is said and done, it's just a game. In the wake of a monumental figure in their lives and in their project leaving the scene. And that's not an easy thing to cope with. So yeah, I have no doubt. You're absolutely right. It too often gets understated.
Indeed, and I on the other hand, I am waiting for someone to say, "Oh, they're using the loss of Julian Lefay as an excuse," and I think that will be unfortunate for the person that says that, because it shows sort of a callousness on their behalf. There is. If we get sort of down the line into the 2030s and they're still saying can't bring out early access because Julian, then I might have something to say. But
yeah,
at the moment, I'm more than happy to say, hey, yeah, I get it. Also, I can't help but see a Skyrim collector's edition on the shelf to his right.
Yes, we noticed that.
Yeah. Right. Let's allow him to. Oh no, because he also said about leaving Unreal, which we'd spoken about previously, I believe.
Yep.
So Unreal Engine is, I think, out now. I don't
know
how.
I was.
Oh, go on.
I was quite sternly reprimanded for saying that, both in the Discord and on my video. I was mistaken in making that assertion because they have not left it behind really at all. It's actually still a major component of the game. It's just that they have gone back a version or a few, and I don't know how many versions they went back, but they went back to an earlier version, and they made a custom fork of it. The fork was somebody else's terminology. I don't know what fork means in this case, but yeah, they're using their own version of Unreal, but it's still very much Unreal Engine.
That's interesting. Because the way I saw it is that Unreal was basically being layered over basically another code base to render graphics, much like the Oblivion remaster.
I did also get that impression from somebody else. Yep.
But if that's not the case, then I will gladly stand corrected on that. But I do think it ties into the sort of rumors around Unreal 5 and 5.5, in that loads of developers have just had massive issues struggling along with it. I'm not a technical guy myself, so I can't really speak too much to it. But it is it's actually interesting to note that I've had hundreds of comments about how relieved people are that Unreal is no longer being a problem.
I was probably one of them.
Yeah, I think you might have been. But yeah, so I don't know. Let me know down in the comments, guys. You can correct us. So how do you feel about Unreal 5 and its relationship to the Wayward Realms / other projects that you think that Unreal may have helped or hindered? Always interesting to hear from people who know more about the code side of things than me. I can just about make a 1990s HTML website.
I used to be able to.
Aye.
We shifted our workflow to be independent of the engine, and we saw leaps and bounds in terms of progress. However, that was really only getting us back on track and still left us behind overall. Now, delays are very common in the games industry. I'm sure you all are familiar with that.
Is.
So it was never out of the realm of possibility and really almost an expectation. So how does this tie back into the devlog? Well, while we have the major and riskier systems up and running, graphically they aren't really to a point that maybe you guys might expect or that we are really happy with ourselves just yet. So we do want to make sure that is clear as we take a look at the systems. The important takeaways are that we can make a massive world. We can fill it with tons of NPCs who all have their own personality, jobs, and will react differently to the keywords based on that. Players can take and complete basic quests. Large dungeons can be procedurally generated. Massive cities with unique and varied houses can be created. And yes, even magic and the spell creation system are in, though still in a basic form and very basic graphically. As of September 30th, we also achieved a core goal from our Kickstarter, which is to have a working publisher build that we can take to potential investors in seeking further funding for the full release version.
Because that means
now,
that,
it's important to note that's not
development
the early access version. That's not what you guys will be playing. Publisher builds can be much rougher in overall everything. They can be missing graphical assets, be less optimized, be lacking a lot of content. They're merely there to showcase the game, how it functions, and the core gameplay loop. Our early access that we plan for you guys will have so much more. Now, as for a release date, we don't have one yet. To be honest with you guys, right now it's looking like we might be pushing past the end of the year goal that we had originally
Victor,
set.
you're breaking my heart.
And I've said before, we want to give you guys something that will feel like Daggerfall, something that lives up to that expectation. And if we're not quite there yet, then we'd rather push it back than give you guys anything less. That being said, it is still early. We have a team that is very eager and very dedicated to bring this game to life.
Need to talk about that sound effect. I've been playing a hell of a lot of Age of Empires 2 with my friends lately.
Yes.
And that is the sound effect from Age of Empires 2. And when I heard that, I suddenly go, wait, I'm not, what? It's like a ghost Skype noise.
So true.
Does anyone still use Skype?
I don't know.
I messaged them about this, and they went, oh yeah, we thought it sounded familiar. No, sugar didn't sound familiar.
Oh man.
Someone making this video knew what they were doing. And I will have my vengeance in this life or the next. All right, I'll continue.
Let's take a look at how it's been coming along and where we're at.
Actually, can we pause right here before he gets to that? Oh, just in time. No, that's fine. We're just right there. Thought we might want to talk about the rest of what he said there. So probably 2026. Do we think?
Probably. I'm hopeful. I want to play, man.
Everybody does, but well. I kind of agree with him that if they're going to give us something that they want us to test, because that is our function in early access, is to test the game for them and help them find all the things that they don't have the time or manpower to find. So I'm happy to serve that role. And if the game is not in a state where they expect it to remain stable going forward, then our time is kind of being wasted, and we're not getting the best representation of the game. So both sides are losing there. Yes,
I agree. I'd rather they not rush.
Yeah.
Because even in early access, people are quite cruel to things in early access. So if you release something which is a little too bare bones, people are going to jump down your throat. But there was something else that he said, and that is the publisher builds, which I'm very positive about, because publisher is going to be generally a good thing for the continued development cycle of the game. However,
essential almost.
I sort of worry about publishers because they can be very creatively
persuasive,
constricted.
Yeah.
I don't want a publisher to come along and say, have you ticked all of these little boxes before they can go. Like, we don't need I don't want to make this into a culture war thing, but I don't want to see this hamstrung by the same kind of Microsoft tick boxes that Avowed and Starfield were hindered by. I want things to be naturally flowing rather than have these sort of dams put into the river of these guys' creativity, because they know what they're doing. They're very creative guys. Look at the lore drops that you do on that you cover on your podcast. I worry. But that being said, finding a publisher nowadays might be one that won't seek to control creatively might be easier in the year of our Lord 2025 than it was in 2015, as things have shifted quite a bit. But again, I don't want to get into the weeds of the culture war. It's just something that occurs to me might be an issue depending on who decides to pick it up.
Yeah. And before you click play again, what do you think we're looking at, or what do you think we will be looking at in just a moment? Do you think this is the publisher build that they showed off in the devlog? Because I know in the Discord, Victor confirmed that it was not iJar; it was simply a testing environment. But I'm wondering if this is the publisher build in a testing environment. What do you think?
It could very well be. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if that was the case. So you can kind of see the old publisher testing environments in Oblivion, where Todd Howard is voicing an NPC in Elven Armor, and you do the conversation wheel on and that stuff. And you got like the green screen rooms in that there where all the items are and stuff like that. So maybe Skyrim's got similar versions of this as well, where you have like, all the dead bodies end up after a while. Maybe I wouldn't surprise me if some of it got through, or some of it was from that.
Oh, I'm sure they'll reuse what works. Yeah, I don't know if we're looking at something that is of the quality that iJar is at right now in its course of development, or if it's something that is deliberately meant to be simple so that it runs well enough for the devlog recording.
Well, in my little sort of 15-minute breakdown, I did say that back in the gameplay trailer, that to me is more what I expect the finished product to be. And I kind of, I'll talk about the combat when we get to it, but I sort of expect that to be more like what early access is. This it all screams testing environment to me. Apart from perhaps the dungeons, because they do look.
We got to talk about that, but that'll be later. Yes.
Yes. Let's press play. Let's continue on our journey for the scale of the Wayward Realms. Woo!
Hi, I'm Kai Kautz, technical director on the Wayward Realms.
I'll be honest.
Scale is very important to our design philosophy. When you visit a town or a village,
take a shot every time I see
any location, we want it to feel real and lived in by thousands of people. And in order to do that, we are leveraging the power of procedural generation.
I'm so happy to see
but
snow.
Not in the way that you are normally used to. When procedural generation is typically employed in a game, let's say you're playing a roguelite and you make your way to a particular dungeon and you walk inside,
they're not animated.
While the dungeon itself, even in the particular level that you're on, has the facade of stone or of brick or whatever is appropriate, the layout is randomly generated. It has a couple of rules that govern how many rooms should be there, how far you should travel, but otherwise there is no set layout for that space. The world of the Wayward Realms is not random. So what we are doing here is taking the information that drives that world and then using these tools to express the factual data in the world so that you can explore it and interact with it.
I will say, because I know this came up on one of your podcasts, he said there the world is not random, so obviously the map is always going to be the same, locations will be in the same places. Items, like legendary items, are not always going to be in the same spot. So you won't be able to go and run off and get that one cool sword at the beginning of the game. I'm not sure how they're going to handle stuff like that, but I will clarify that when he says the world is not random and it is expressing game data, that game data may have a little bit of randomness to it. From what I'm able to piece together, they've not been told that directly, but through the interviews I've done with them, through the chats I've had with them, and through reading Discord, it seems to me that when he's saying the world isn't random, he is meaning landscape. He is meaning the way in which it presents itself. That's my understanding anyway. Feel free to correct me if I am incorrect.
I agree with you there. I noticed that they spent a lot of time, or Kai in particular spends a lot of time talking about procedural generation and the language models that they're using now.
Hmm.
But curiously, throughout this devlog, I don't think they ever once mentioned the VGM.
Yes, that is absent from this, but I suppose
they don't want to have too many fires come back.
Yeah. I really got the feeling they were nervous with this. Really nervous. And I can understand why, because there are some shots that look okay, and there are other shots that are very, very, very rough. Like the city in the bowl of the hills sat on the coast there looks quite rough.
Yeah, that opening shot was a curious choice.
But at the same time, it's there to show you the size and scale of the city. So this cities aren't just going to be plonked on one hill; they'll cover several hills, sort of thing.
Why though, Jack? Do you think they chose to do it from out in a completely flat ocean, looking at a very starkly, brightly contrasted, sunny hillside? Why couldn't they have had the character down at street level inside the city, looking across the valley? You would see, I mean, the buildings would be in the foreground. We saw from, or we will see very shortly from Kai's demonstration of the buildings, that the buildings look great close up. Why couldn't a character have been in the city, just looking across the breadth of the city? I think that would have made a more compelling
Or just
shot.
had the character walk from one side of the city to the other, and then say, "Have you noticed how long we've been walking?" I understand why they did it this way, and that is the grand sweeping camera angles are quite. I wouldn't say they're massively easy to do, but they do the job well in getting across the information to people. This is not exactly, this first bit isn't very granular, but I reckon that in future devlogs we will see more in terms of ground level exploration.
Hopefully.
I will continue with Zavidya.
And in order to demonstrate that in a way that is much more concrete, there are 4 buildings here that
singular fruit tree
are the type of buildings that you would see in a town called Belfer Parva that's on Ijar.
Now, I will note that if he's saying the type of buildings specific to a town,
fairly distinct.
That says to me that different towns have different
one on the left
styles.
Is
I sure hope so, yeah.
Or a tavern. There are places to sit outside. There's storage, likely for foodstuffs or possibly for...
One thing that I will give you kudos for is I didn't realize I could see through the windows until you said it.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, you've got an eye for detail, sir.
That's right.
Small batch ale or things like that. On the far right side, you can see that there is a storage area, but that this is otherwise mostly residential. And in the middle, while even from a glance or from far away, these 2 buildings look relatively similar, if you look a little bit closer, you'll see that there is quite a number of differences between them. The building on the left belongs to someone who sells fruit and has an apple tree growing in front of their home.
The mighty magic apple tree.
I will say, I think the apple tree is just a signifier. He probably has an orchard somewhere.
No, I refuse to believe. It must produce 1,000 apples every day.
Also, have you noticed there's a little sign on the bottom of the stairs there?
I was wondering about that. We also see that actually on the right side of the screen when he's walking around amongst all the other NPCs. We see that again. And it does seem very much like a sign, but I'm wondering if it's sort of the back of a city park bench. That's what it looks like to me. If
Maybe.
It was a little bit higher, it could be sort of like the foundation of it.
In Daggerfall, you can just sort of inspect a building from a little bit away. It'll tell you the name and what it is. So I would imagine there's going to be a similar function here.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. We'll go back to it.
Their shop, rather. The one on the right belongs to somebody who is selling grain, and that shop has the necessary storage for grain to be sold. So, as you move through the world, the purpose of every single one of these buildings is what's going to determine what is put there. And that is not random information. That is information that is set for every single building in a given city or a given village, or even beyond buildings, certain areas of biomes or things like that.
How pretty.
Of course, a large city is pointless if we don't have NPCs to bring it to life. While it's still a work in
Determined walk.
progress, our crowd system can currently keep track of several million NPCs in real time, whether they're currently visible to the player or all the way across the world.
Several
Their
million.
outfits can change depending
I
on
think
their
we need to
profession
talk
or
about
so-
that. I did have a comment a little while back saying, why would you want several million that you'll possibly never see?
Yeah.
Is simulation not fun for you at all, buddy?
It's not about whether or not you're there with the person. It's about how it's influencing the entire world. In real life, there's the butterfly effect. Every little thing somebody does, every little change that happens in the world, if nothing is there simulating that in the background, then those changes, those influences cannot be imparted. The simulation is a whole experience. It's not just what the character sees.
And you know what? I can't say it any better myself. I will say the character models aren't terrible. The hair could use some work.
I'd like to see some more hairstyles, that's for sure.
Also, that barrel in the background and that crater floating.
Yes, I noticed that. Yeah, everything's kind of floating. I think they're a little bit above ground level.
Yeah,
It's possibly leaving room for some sloping city cobbled streets or something.
I will say, again, very, very early footage. I think every time I see stuff like this, though, I think back to the gameplay trailer. And I guess having to decouple somewhat from Unreal has meant that there has been a setback overall.
A big one, yeah.
But we shall. Well, as I say, the video title of theirs is Setbacks. So
yeah,
we will continue.
Social status, the time of year, and even whether they're going to work.
Henry Danaville. That is. Hold on. That was a woman called Henry.
Yes.
Being driven entirely by data in the game world, cities aren't the only place that people's lives and choices will cause buildings to show up.
Not a very good example of a village.
Some prefer life in the countryside. While rolling green hills.
Where's the village well for Timmy to
some,
fall down?
It's not a plethora of villages that have us building systems to keep track of the lives of millions.
But it's the technical stuff behind.
One thing that has always been a central aim of the Wayward Realms has been ensuring that civilization has a real-world scale.
I mean, this is a nice shot.
Yes,
I realize the houses are all just placeholder.
What's in the shot isn't so great, but the shot itself is cleverly done.
But it's the fact that the scale and the topography of the world is natural as well.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
Again, this is not Ijar.
This is not. I'm hoping we find settlements around rivers and making sense with like farmland around.
Dialogue
that
can you changes pause? Based on
Yeah,
one of the screenshots they shared just last week. There's usually they do a lot of portrait frame screenshots, but there was one in particular that was a landscape screenshot just this last week that shows just such a scene. It's a little stream running through the middle of the frame. But if you look behind the trees, you can see a couple of houses with their slated roofs and whatnot, and it just looks gorgeous. I just wish we get to see more of that here in a devlog sort of thing. Again, it's not a gameplay trailer, but I want it to be.
I'm actually just scrolling their Twitter here. Is it the nothing gold can stay shot?
No. It was all on its own. Oh bother. Maybe open Discord.
That's not too much of an issue if you can't find it. I say this is a bit. We're doing it live.
Doing it live. Go.
Yeah, it's not too much, but there are some lovely things on their X account as well that they have posted. Like there's this stone bridge going into like a rocky outclose. So there is some really lovely stuff that they are uploading. I hope that, as you say, if they can release something by the end of the year that tells us more about the sort of the look of the game, because you know the devs are quite right that most people want to see the game look good.
Yeah,
as shallow as that sounds, I think if we can see sort of a return to the standards of the gameplay trailer from last year, then we're looking quite shiny for 2026. At least that's my view. I shall get us going again. Otherwise, we're going to be here all night.
NPC's personality, their place in the world, and their relationship to the player is very important in creating a believable world.
Cigar.
So let's look at how that works in game.
Again, she looks fine. This.
Here is a
Oh
fairly
boy,
abridged
this
table of
abridged
NPC attributes. There's a lot of stuff missing from this, but what you can see here is on the left we have an array of stats.
Right. I wanted to when they go into combat and they bring up the way the stats work. You said something in your video about there being a missing stat, and I think I know why that might be missing. But I'll need to get to that bit to jog my memory.
The stat I called out as being missing was age.
No,
no, I'm sorry. No, you're talking about when it was on the right side of the screen. Yeah, the missing stat was stamina.
So the reason I think stamina might be out is for the same reason that HP wasn't there. Those would be sort of separate bars. So if you think about like a role-playing character sheet, you've got your attribute scores, and then your HP and your AC, etc., is separate to that because it's the result of adding stuff together from those attributes. So I think that's probably why those were moved or not there where you thought they would be.
So stamina is derivative then?
I would imagine so. It's derivative in Elder Scrolls games. To me, stamina would be sort of the combination of your strength and endurance, maybe, or maybe your willpower as well. People sometimes use.
Yeah, we don't have endurance here, though, do we?
I play so many RPGs. I just kind of mash.
Endurance isn't a lot of them,
yeah. Specifically D&D, Untold Destiny, things like that. No, endurance isn't D&D. What the hell am I talking about? Endurance is just Elder Scrolls. I'm going mad. I'm going to press play.
That drives everything for how these NPCs actually come to be.
They better not touch my prostitute.
From there, their place in society, the job that they're capable of doing,
the irony of that statement,
their traits and their speech are all determined. So, for example, you can see that
made my love.
Fairly intelligent person might become a cartographer. A fairly perceptive person might become a hunter. A fairly charismatic person might become a count. In addition to all of this, we have access to a natural language processing system that allows us to essentially create a translation service that runs inside of the game itself. What that means is that we can take all of this information about this NPC, the things that they want to say, and we can create a very basic sentence that we then translate into something that is more fitting of the world or the people that you were talking to. So if we ask Sigamatan about her profession,
I really like the way
she tells us, indeed you see, I deal in the rarest, most exquisite aromatics, a purveyor of flavors most delicate and divine. She makes her living somehow selling spices. Now, the thing about this is that if we were to come here on a different day and talk to her again...
She looks fine, too. The face looks fine. She looks quite pretty, actually.
She would say almost the same thing, but with a slight variety.
Can we pause here?
The reason for that is that all of this...
So Kai's about to say that the reason for it is that everything is translated from known information. And this is like the one time when he gets close to saying the VGM, but he doesn't quite say it. And what I'm a bit confused about is, okay, she's saying different things on different days or different times of day, but she's still speaking in a manner of somebody who is trying to actively sell you something that is at their market stall. And clearly she's out in the middle of the woods with snow blowing past her face. So I don't think quite every part of the environment is being taken into account for choosing what she's saying.
Not on this case, no. But I'll play defense for them on that. Okay. I think the idea was the season is winter, and she's going to say this, and then the season is spring or summer, and you ask her the same thing, and she'll give you a slightly varied answer. I think that was just to sort of give a differentiation of day. Also, she's an NPC that probably doesn't realize she's out in the middle of a testing environment.
No, they must all be sentient.
But I don't know, man. I think Siga, whoever this woman is, our clone or us, who knows?
Yes.
I don't know. I think this is fine. Like, it's a good way of just saying, here's how this particular system works. Yeah, I think it's a good start.
Speaking of clone, did that bother you in the combat scenes? Because it really bothered me.
I did not even notice
Did
until
you not?
pointed it out. Man,
Oh,
I
I'm
hate
sorry.
to break this to you, but you might want to go and get yourself checked out for OCD or something.
There's this constant flash in front of my face. Like, what is that?
You have a very high perception score. I'll give you that.
I'm at least 60.
Right. Let's press the button.
This is driven by actual game data. None of this is generative. It is
One thing you also
translated.
really wanted to stress is that this
so
is an
we have
RLM.
a core sentence that this comes from that is unique to this NPC,
But we must have some
their place in life, their
AI
profession,
behind.
their goals, their wants. And then it is translated into something that is appropriate for the moment, which could change based on their feelings towards you, the player, could change based on other world events that happen. But ultimately, they will communicate the same information. It's not randomized, it's not generative, it is translated. Now, if we were to start again and instead ask her about her missing sword, let's see if this is something that we could help with.
I will say here, it's very slow text scroll. So I did ask, can we speed this up?
I'm glad you asked about that.
They do plan to. Retrieve it, pray you. Lest I. It's so daggerful, the dialogue.
It appears that she
Is it?
left
Okay.
in
I'm glad to see
Fligisol.
that.
Now that we have a quest, let's go check it out.
They haven't done the whole journal entry stuff yet.
Yeah, I got picked on for commenting about that in my video. It's like, there's no feedback to the player.
Manager and one of the engineers developing the game.
Now,
combat is
I
perhaps
am going
one of the most important systems we have.
the video here because I want to sort of talk over the combat.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
And that is these animations and the way the skeletons are skeletons, bloody hell.
I like it. Let's go with it.
The way the skeletons are reacting to being hit doesn't feel as impactful as the gameplay trailer we got from a year ago.
Yeah, something has definitely gone back a ways.
So it's not terrible for sort of an explanation of the guard and of the stamina, etc. at all. By the way, I note that those bars aren't smoothly animated yet either, so we are looking at very, very pre-alpha footage. Even though these dungeons look wonderful, one of the things that I got sold on was the way that weapons clanged against one another. Was how they got stuck in the enemy or bounced off each other. So I'm looking back at particularly that duel with the orc outside of the crypt in the gameplay trailer, and I'm hoping that those animations and those ideas make a return. I don't want another RPG where I'm just dodging and weaving and throwing spamming out a paddle of a sword.
I remember seeing some chatter in the Discord where they were sort of saying some of the stuff that was in that gameplay trailer was representative of older ideals about how the melee combat should go, including dodge, and they were having some rethinks about that. So I don't know if what we're seeing in the devlog is indicative of the way forward. I hope it's not. I
do like the idea of guard. I won't lie, because it sort of means that you have not a secondary health bar. I'll just pause it before we get too far along. We're not getting mass amounts of we're not going to lose mass amounts of gameplay by having the melee combat not clank as much, but the sound effects for it, the animations were very impactful, so it will be a disappointment if they're not there. But also these animations are simply here as placeholders, so who knows?
I hope so. Gosh, I hope so.
That being said, guard itself is a good idea, I think. It really reminds me of a TTRPG system that is being made by my friend Dean called Untold Destiny, where you deplete HP, then you gather wounds, get enough wounds and you die. Although obviously in this case you enter into a vanquished state if you don't die from your wounds, and then you sort of play past the game over, which is excellent in terms of philosophy. I'm really stuck though on these, and I mentioned this in my video. I am really stuck on these animations, and I'm hoping that these are bare bones basics just to get the guard sort of into the player's mind or into our minds as people that have already backed the game. But I am trepidatious. There's that word again. Excuse me. How about yourself? How do you feel about guard?
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm a little bit confused because at one point in the part where they're running through the tunnels of this dungeon, we see that the guard and health bar start almost completely down at nothing. And I'm wondering, how does the player get to that point and not have some wound or debuff to show for it? Again, it's possibly just the devlog that they just started out a given condition and they didn't think about what was going into the recording. But that right there. Yeah. How do you get to that point and still be alive?
It's the same kind of situation I found myself in with the Giants.
Yeah.
All right, time to run.
Time to load save after save after save.
Indeed. No, I'm trepidatious for the combat now. So that's really my only concern that's come out of the devlog is I hope the combat is going to be revisited a little bit. But again, I also find mods will easily tailor this sort of stuff to how you want it to, if the way the modern games go.
Do you think I am completely out of my mind for picking a bone about the movement of melee combat, as I described in my video?
Not necessarily. I mean, I've been playing Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon, or Fall of Avalon, Tainted Grail. Someone shouted at me in the comments for saying it the wrong way around once.
And now I forever shall.
And now I have irreparable trauma. That is a very dodge in and out kind of thing. Daggerfall, I quite enjoy, is obviously very floaty in that way. It's, quite old.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily mind it. What I have a bigger problem is with in games like this and in games like Mount and Blade, particularly, actually, is enemies that always approach forward and they never try and reposition around you or stop and try and do more. Yep. They're just always coming towards you, and that actually encourages the player then to be backpedaling the whole time. Yep. That is what I think is more egregious. Is if you're always backpedaling and swinging your sword, you may as well be a ranged character. If you can't stand and fight, if your weight won't stop an enemy from coming too close to you, where like if an enemy is right up in the camera, so their face is pressed against your screen, that is probably not something you want. But we'll see. We'll have to see. I don't think you're completely out of your mind for saying that at all. No.
Well, I can see two reasons for it. Number one, it's how real life is. If you're in combat and you're not in a formation combat and you're not in a grand melee, you're just out there dueling with some opponent on the battlefield, yes, you are going to do everything you can to dodge out of the way of their swing. That's just common sense. But I think the reason it happens and the combat is so dodgy and floaty in Daggerfall, I think the reason for that is because everything is character skill driven, and there's a chance. It's not dependent on whether or not you make a hit, and whether or not the enemy makes a hit on you is not dependent on where your weapon physically is and where the enemy physically is. It's based on whether or not you are in reach of each other and if there is a dice roll thrown in the favor of that hit. So if you are out of reach of the enemy, then there's no need for a dice roll and you just completely avoid the chance of being hit. So it's a cheesy, sort of, in my mind, cheating mechanism. But everybody does it because that's how the game is meant to be played, because it's old technology. In this game, it's going to be 2026, and I don't want that system to still be there. I know it's still character skill driven, but I'm just not happy about it. I don't want it to be spammable.
I don't think there is a dice roll being made when the hitboxes collide in this game.
You don't think so?
I don't believe so, no, because the way the skeletons fall over, if I press play, when we kill a skeleton, when we get to one, here we go. When he kills a skeleton, look, it sort of goes. Maybe not there actually. Maybe I'm wrong. But there are other instances where he hits it with the sword, and
it exactly timed. Yeah, it knocks it to the ground.
Yeah, so I am wondering now that I've rewatched that a bit carefully if there is actually dice rolls as they hit. Who knows? I don't really mind that style of gameplay. I like Daggerfall. I like Morrowind. However, how well that will go down with the wider audience, that mythical modern wider audience, I don't know.
Well, let's also bear in mind that one of our main 8 attributes of our character is speed. And if you have a character who has a high speed attribute, I would totally forgive them for doing that kind of combat style. That's what they're exactly. That's what they're based on. You should be doing that. But for any other character build, I want it to be a little bit more stand and fight.
Yeah, I will say, I mean, I've done a little bit of reenactment, both formation and single combat. And yeah, you can sort of dodge in and out. I'm a lithe guy. I'm in good shape. I can jump in and out of someone's reach. Most men can't.
That would be me.
And it's a lot more about leverage and stance. So I would say that you need to have a moment where if you're playing, I don't know, paladin in massive armor, there is no reason for you to not take a hit and just grab the guy and then shove your sword in his throat. Because at that point you just let the hit. You take the hit so that you can grab him. You don't dodge the hit and then try and get in a gap. You just take it and then you shake him to death. So that
play the way you're built for.
Exactly. But I have seen, saying all this, I have actually seen posts from the devs on YouTube talking about different combat animations for different races. So you could have ogres that just pick people up and fling them across the room. So there is actually quite a lot of hope in the philosophy behind the changes we're seeing here, if any change has taken place. I just really like the idea of one thing that I find really endearing about Daggerfall. And you asked me last time, what would I bring back from Daggerfall? One thing I find really endearing is the ting, 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 ting noises of the blades. And I want that. That's what I want.
A classic movie. Everybody's just fencing on the staircase.
But like I said, I mean, I fought with steel swords and maces and axes. That happens. It is ting, ting, ting when parries and things happen. Yeah. I mean, I've done fencing before as well, but I was doing 12th century Norman combat. And it's very much when there's a fight happening, you can hear the thwacks on shields and the scraping of metal, and it is great fun. And I want to hear and feel those sounds in the Wayward Realms, but I have been nattering for a bit, so let's
get on to magic.
Let's be some magical. Probably the most complicated one. It's one of the shortest segments.
You're right.
Right, let's pause straight away. We've got Haunting Chill, Winter Beam, Freezing Flame, and Scorching Ray.
All sound delicious.
Yes, that Haunting Chill, Spectral Frost pierces its first victim. Does that mean it has pierce? It goes down through other areas, through enemies?
That sounds like it, yeah.
Yeah, sounds like it to me. What else we got here? We've got inventory character. This orc male, level 10, Wuglet.
The one I've been using for a long time.
Oh, you know how you were trying to work out the date of the game?
Yeah.
Look in the top right. Oh, you can't see the top right on the screen.
I can't see. It's cut off. Is it really right there?
1483. The 25th of Aeus, winter, 1483.
My perception skill has gone down. Dang it.
It is interesting to me that they are on spells there, but you've also got staves, cantrips, triggers.
It's a new one. I don't know what triggers is. Nobody's talked about it. That I've seen anyway.
That sounds to me like a contingency spell, which
is a conditional activation. Yeah,
exactly. You place a magical effect on either yourself, an item, or an area, and then bang. You ever hear of a Tell me, mister, have you ever heard of a glyph of warding? People might get that reference. But have you ever heard of a glyph of warding?
Yep, sure have.
I was referencing a cake, a little boy selling cake, but he's put glyphs of warding on them so that he can assassinate someone.
Okay.
We've heard this, Ghost Pig. Oh boy. Anyway, yeah, that's cool. That we have those there. Also, cantrips.
Yes, those are minor activations. Yeah, yes. they take. It's like that thing from the gameplay trailer where he squeezes his fist and all the candles on the chandelier illuminate.
That's exactly what I like, because that is right out of tabletop. Yep. Prestidigitation, click your fingers, lights activate. I like that a lot because you can incorporate that into stealth builds.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. I will continue the video for all those screaming at me. That. Oh look, it's another skeleton. I do think that there needs to be. It's obviously very, very rough, and they're just trying to say, "Hey, there's magic in the game."
Basically, I hope.
I really hope the hands aren't this close. Like, is he holding his hands like back by his shoulders, sort of wiggling his fingers with the magic? This looks
hopefully,
cool,
if we get
though,
some,
man.
It does.
Spell effect.
There's your Pierce, by the way.
Yeah, there's Pierce. Chain, like chain lightning.
I wish they could have shown that.
So you've got the effect and the delivery. Can you have multiple deliveries? Projectile?
I get the sense no.
Hold on.
It seems like it's
go back a little bit there.
It seems like it's mechanically unique.
So then you got simple beam and projectile. Okay, that's what I want. So you got invocation, summary, filler options. There seems to be a lot they plan on doing with this.
Yeah.
I said
very bare bones.
It was a lot more than I was expecting from the magic system, to be honest. I wasn't expecting to have magic in the game to this level for the first phase of early access, based on what I was told in interviews. No, because when I interviewed them with Variax, for example, they said, hey, magic is one of those things that we're going to do like Daggerfall, but we don't know if it's going to be available in early access. And here it is.
Okay. Makes me a little bit reassured.
Then obviously the seasons, so we may as well while the moons are happening.
Yes.
What happened to this character? Everything's on half.
Yeah, there was some old screenshots they shared on the not old, but some other slightly recent screenshots on the Discord.
I like the way the world is supposed to function. I think like the scope, like from a zoomed out view, is fine at the moment. But it's the down in the nitty gritty of it that I want to see more of, because this is lovely. For me, it's the combat that is. They said it was one of the most important things they could have. To me, it is the most important. Needs to be right. Absolutely must be right. Otherwise, all of it is for naught.
If you're going to make us an adventurer, you better give us some means to stay alive while adventuring. Get it right.
I mean, I say this is a complete and utter simp for the game. Like, I think people should back this game and support it and encourage the devs as much as they can.
Cha-ching.
But this is where they sink or swim, is the gameplay loop, right? So if they can have this massively simulated world, and this is probably where that guy's criticism about why do you want simulation sort of comes into play, is that we sort of need to have we need to have the moment-to-moment gameplay be incredible. Otherwise, the rest of it is just dressing.
And what I'm looking forward to most in this game is exploring. And I can explore all day long and look at all kinds of things that may stay the same or may change in the future. They may improve graphics. They may change topography if they feel like it, if it suits the needs of the world. But in order to survive getting to a point where I can go out and look at the world, I need to be able to survive in combat. And combat needs to feel like I'm not just wasting my time and hoping on luck moment to moment. I need to know that I'm I've built my character well. I've equipped them well. I know what I'm doing in combat. I've read the descriptions of how to use my stuff, how to use my spells.
You've got your 15 million different spells you've made for just one use.
I've toned it down to 14. Come on. But yes, exactly. The combat needs to be the main focus. It is, exactly as you said, the moment-to-moment satisfaction of being in the game.
Other than that, like the dungeon crawling looks as if it's going to be amazing.
Oh, what they've done with those assets, man. The walls, the ceilings, the pillars, the banisters, everything. It's
difficult
it's
to
gorgeous.
think all of that is procedurally generated.
Yeah. I comparing that to my other most recently played procedurally generated game, Return to Moria, I wouldn't say it's night and day, but it's like noon and twilight.
I think, again, if you can get the feeling down of delving a dungeon and especially at those low levels, fear
Yes.
of the sounds.
Sorry, finish your thing. Go ahead.
It's just the fear of the sounds around the corner is what I was thinking.
Yes. Torches, dude. Did you notice how many torches there were? And they were all pre-lit, so we're sticking with that game trope. I'm okay with that. But did you notice how poorly they illuminated the room? Like they gave off a realistic amount of light.
A realistic amount of torchlight, yeah. One thing that will be fun to notice is, do you ever hear of a YouTuber called Lindy Beige?
Oh my God. Yeah.
He actually did years ago, like 10 to 15 years
ago. His rants. Oh my God. I subscribed to him for his rants.
But he did a 10 to 15 years ago. He did a video on torches.
And how the smoke blows in your face. You would never hold the torch in front of your face.
Exactly. So I'd be interested to see if that is something that occurs. Look, the dungeon looked lovely. It looked brilliant. It's the character animations that need to be worked on. The threat level didn't really come across, but again, this was all about 3 particular systems or 3 or 4 particular systems, which, to be honest,
it was a technical devlog. Yeah, it was a technical devlog, and they impressed on the technical aspect. Yes.
Oh, definitely. Like the millions of NPCs is mind-boggling. To be honest, the game, like the wide shots, look fantastic. This is maybe more excited.
This one right here, we're underneath the clouds. All those trees, it's completely undulating topography. Everything is unique. Oh, it makes me want to traverse. I want to go out there and.
Hey, Enza.
Yeah.
You see that mountain?
You can go there.
You can climb that mountain.
And if we jump off of it, you'll get to the moon.
To be honest, this people are like, oh, Skyrim mountainous takes a while to do, or Oblivion, you've got the mountains, takes a while to do. These mountains are proper. Like you
guys ain't seen nothing yet.
Yeah. I am really looking forward to being in the wilderness. I'm a wilderness kind of guy. I like playing rangers. So this is my kind of topography here. I don't know. I really think that it inspires more confidence than not. Oh,
Jack, I just remember from the gameplay trailer. Climbing is in the game. We're gonna be able to actually climb the mountains.
Yeah. One of the reasons I want to play in my simping for the Wayward Realms video, I want to play one of the what basically is going to amount to medieval Batman is because of the climbing skill, man. I want to climb over the bandits' palisade wall and have them wake up dead, or not wake up, I guess.
Oh man, you're gonna have to have a slow fall spell on you, so you can just throw out your aesthetic cape and just glide down into their midst.
I mean, there is a magic item in D&D which I would actually, if the devs watch this, and I know Victor does stalk these videos. Hi, Victor.
Hi.
I would recommend putting in a cloak of billowing that can billow heroically when I've done something.
I would love that.
Man, there's a lot of. One of the reasons I have been such a simp for the Wayward Realms is the amount of aspiration that's going into them. Like this is an aspirational game, and I think they have just about cracked the egg now. I think they can really do something special with this. And like you, I hope we see more before the end of the year to sort of put the few issues I have to rest.
Yep.
Well, we've been going in an hour here. You got anything else you want to talk about?
Dude, we could sit here for another hour if you want to, but
no.
As far as the devlog goes, I think we've covered most of it. I got to thinking about some of the things that I didn't talk about in my video, and it's the little things that were so clean and obvious that I didn't notice them, such as when the sun is coming up in the very first very first clip of this devlog, we see the sunrise, and the sun is not coming through. There you go. It's in the ocean there. It's not shining through the ocean like in Stormworks. It's not shining through the land like in Kerbal Space Program. It is the planet is solid. The sun knows where its occlusion is, and it shines correctly across the waves. And it's little things like that. There are so many little details in this devlog that go overlooked or went overlooked by me because they were done correctly. They were done so well that I didn't notice them.
Everyone's a critic.
Yep.
But even me, I'm like, there are things they have definitely done well, like the swords and armor and clothing have that realistic vibe to them. They look fantasy, but they also look like it was something that actually someone might use or wear,
and would want to.
And would want to, yeah. So there are lots of things that are exceptional. Like again, I'm going to go back to the character models. I think they look quite good. For being incredibly early accessy or beta
Victor,
or alpha.
Victor or Kai, whoever does this part of the video, next devlog, Orc Town.
No, we don't need to see those. Unless it's on fire. Yes, go for burning Orc Town. Green skin.
Actually, they seem to be mostly gray in this game.
Gray skin. Look, I don't care how good the orcs are in this universe. The orc racism stays with me. It traverses universes. Elves
if I can plug your channel for you, one of my favorite videos on your entire channel is the one where you're talking about tradition, and you're talking about the names of orcs, meaning undead or something like that. And yeah, that I love that video of yours, man. It's so
well. Cheers, mate. I appreciate it. Again, this is why I have you on, because it just strokes my ego. It's brilliant. But one thing I was going to, because you said nice things about me last time and this time, so I wanted to compliment you on your just the precision perception of some of the things that I just did not notice.
Yeah,
like being cloned or wearing the same clothes or things like that.
I told you last time I was going to nitpick that devlog frame by frame, and I did.
You did, and people let you know about it. Now, I'm very much looking forward to early access, probably even more now. I know I've said that a few times.
Yep.
But it's just just a few rough edges, boys. Just a few rough edges that need to be.
And we're there.
Smoothed out. Other than that, go subscribe to Inter. He is linked below. And do me a favor and like and subscribe here as well. And keep an eye out for the 1,000 subscriber special, which is in the midst of being made. Other than that, anything else that you want to say, or shall I press stop?
I think I want to hear that Age of Empires 2 bell again.
Ding!
Yep.